host, Jerry Park.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Pat Jones Show. The Cowboys back from a cloudy day in Ames, Iowa, and a 6-6 tie with the Iowa State Cyclones. Pat, from my vantage point, it was the best 60 minutes of football this season.
Well, I think so, Jerry. The frustrating thing about it is, and you got to, I lost my voice in Des Moines. I woke up Saturday morning, my voice was completely gone, but which might be better. But yeah, from the standpoint that I think we played 60 minutes of pretty solid football. You got to give Iowa State some credit because going through what they've gone through at quarterback, they were very limited. Now, again, I think our front people defensively dominated. I think our offensive line played better. Iowa State's front seven competed extremely hard, which I thought they might. Downside of it is we had opportunities to win a ball game and didn't. The tie kind of leaves us all a little bit numb and obviously still wondering. But on the good side of it, yeah, I think we sustained some things. We made some big plays. We put ourselves in position to have a chance to win one. Now, again, when you ultimately pull it off, who knows? I'd like to think it might be this week, but I think from a momentum standpoint that we sustained a little bit of that and might have taken it to another level considering the relatively level of competition. But again, funny ball game to witness. It was, and we'll see this here, I mean, it was a tense one. It was a very exciting one. For a game that was low scoring, a lot of things happened.
It was tense, it was exciting, and we'll get into first quarter action when the Pat Jones Show continues after these messages. Well, I mentioned it was a cloudy, overcast day in Ames, Iowa. The field was wet, Pat, but no rain. The Cyclones won the toss. Then it was strange. They decided to take the win.
Well, it didn't surprise me. There was some wind blowing, and again, the field was wet, and there was a little bit of mist going on. They won the toss and elected to defend, which meant we were going to have an extra possession of the ball. But again, I'm sure them feeling like they were going to play good defensively and play for a break. We lost Dimitri Markham, one of our receivers, on the opening kickoff, Jerry, which affected us because we were not able to do some things formation-wise because we did not have Mark Cheatwood with us on the trip. I thought we was a pretty good first couple of possessions. Again, we're not trying to do anything unduly fancy, trying to get some things going with our formation running game. Again, as Roger Franks, the fullback, continues to play well. Now, again, this is, Denson's making a good run. We break it out here, and he gets the ball stripped from him. Again, we have tended to fumble on the first possession more than you'd like. Now, they've got the ball back down here. You can see they're being pretty conservative. I think Satterwhite and our defensive unit, you can see Andre Thompson, 93, really took hold of this ball game early on. Again, at a time that we have turned the ball over, but you can see a lot of emotion, a lot of zinging around, a lot of people around the football, even considering that Iowa State was being very conservative. Again, a converted tailback or quarterback back at quarterback in Caldwell 16. Not doing a whole lot, but you can see they're trying to run a bootleg there. Here's a replay coming up, and Gilden's all over him. But again, Gilden, Satterwhite, Andre Thompson, Colbert, Garman, these guys, I think really showed up all afternoon. But again, this was a big series for us defensively. Again, we had made a first down, we had fumbled. They come in and punt, and they're so dangerous with their kick game because we were scared all afternoon long that they were going to do something with a fake, and we were prepared for it, and they never did. But because of the fumble, we're bottled up down on our end of the field going into the wind, and it's misting again and wet. Okay, here's Barry, and you can see we're alternating pretty much, not necessarily every other play, but pretty repeatedly. Denson and Barry, trying to give them enough pops and get them better. And again, we were not being unnecessarily guarded as far as throwing or not throwing. I think our throwing game was pretty effective, but really trying to, again, to get these tailbacks enough repeated opportunities and let them continue to get better because they are improving. In the fullback here is Vincent comes in and really does not hit this ball well. So now they've got still decent field position, but
they're on their own 37.
Yeah, on their own 37-yard line. Again, defensively, you can hear Satterwhite again. That's a 3-yard loss. Gilden, this is probably the best ball game we've played defensively in a pretty good while. To try to run a little draw trap. Clarence Nobles and a host of other Cowboys, Funchess and a bunch of those guys around. But here's a sprint pass. And again, I know I'll say this a lot, and they were being pretty careful about things because of what they've been going through at quarterback, although Caldwell has got some run ability, and he has got a fairly strong arm. In a week's time, they're having to be pretty catch as catch can offensively. We knew that, and so did they. But defensively, again, another good series. They went a long way into, I think it's down into the second quarter before they ever even made a first down. Again, we defensively, they stop us, or we stop them. Now they kick the ball down. We're going to get around the 23 or 24 yard line. Okay, here's Berrien again on the sweep. Again, you can see us featuring a little bit more I formation stuff. All right, nice job, a little play action out to Kirksey. I thought Kirksey and Burt Milner, under the circumstances, played about as well as any two receivers that we've ever had at Oklahoma State. Nice throw, nice catch right there to Robert. Robert is nearing the 1,000-yard mark for his career, which would make him, I think, there's only been 11 other receivers in Oklahoma State history that have done that. It's a good tribute to him and people he's been playing with. Milner ended up the day, I think, with 9 catches for 134 yards. One of the better statistical performances a receiver has had at Oklahoma State.
That was his career high, too.
Yeah. And, okay, here, Denson. You can see now we're starting to open up and get a little bit more room there. There's a sprint draw. Okay, here goes Kenny back. And now a little draw to Berrien. And, again, he almost came out of that. So, again, getting some things accomplished here. Back on our end of the field. Nice job of Ford setting, throwing. A good job of Kirksey catching the ball in the hole. Again, I will say this. Iowa State's defensive unit, I thought, competed extremely hard throughout the course of the ball game. And, again, they've got 4 seniors and 2 juniors in that front 7. People really had not pushed them around dramatically all year long. And we didn't, although we made some yards on them, mixing both the run and the pass. Good job, Robert Kirksey. Good job, Kenny Ford. Okay, again, toss it back. Okay, nice little cut right there, finding a little bit of a crack. Really trying to let our offensive linemen be as aggressive as we possibly can. Okay, here's Denson. It's a way to dip and dodge. He almost came out of that. Okay, did they call face mask there?
Yes, they did. There was a face mask.
They sure did. There was, there's Denson making the signal right there. He's telling us what's going on. Here's Kenny back off play action. Okay, threw it a little bit low. Good job of Scott Copeland catching the ball again. We've got a pretty nice looking drive going here. Again, for the final outcome of the game, Jerry, hopefully it might indicate that we were being fairly conservative and we really weren't. And I think if you see this thing, again, we threw the ball around sometimes, which made me a little bit antsy when we were doing it. But again, at times we did a pretty effective job of it. So again, Cowboys have got a good drive going. They haven't made a first down yet. And we're on the move here, again, with wet weather and going against a wind.
And Copeland with a high five with his teammates. The first quarter ends 0-0. We'll take a look at second quarter action on the Pat Jones Show after we take this timeout. Pat, as we begin the second quarter, you've already consumed 4.5 minutes of the clock on this drive, 9 plays, and we pick it up there.
We're going downwind now. Again, I won't say the wind was a real big factor, but it was somewhat. Again, I cannot say enough good things about number 32, Big Franks. He's had a little bit of a growing injury, and he really continues to show up on some of the stuff that has been good for us. Well, I'd like to see Kenny come out wheeling and throw this ball. Robert adjusted his route and almost made a great catch down in here. Okay, here we go. Now here's Berrien, good determined job of running here, and okay, here we're back to throw now off play action.
3rd and 11.
3rd and 11. Boy, nice throw, nice catch right here to Burt Milner, and let's see what's going to happen up. Okay, here's a replay of it. Again, Milner, I think I'm correct in saying 9 catches on the day for 134 yards, and really, Burt is really a good football player. Again, he and Kirksey are really having a good year. We had the 2 receivers down, which didn't help the throwing game a great deal. So you can see right in the interior, we got big push. Boy, they jumped all over Mike Curtis, our freshman snapper, and just rejected him, and their jumpers went up and got the ball, and we get the field goal blocked. Okay, but now we come back, and okay, they're trying to run a little bit of play action. Look at Andre Thompson's effort. That's the way to hustle Andre. Again, Patterson just has to fire the ball out of bounds, but now we come in and stop them. They've got to punt into a little bit of wind. I thought their punter really did a good job throughout. Scotty Harmon gets it caught. I thought we might have a chance right here, but we've got the ball out around midfield. And again, it looks like we're in a fairly decent rhythm offensively. Again, no gain there, but you can see guys cutting and bodies flying all over every place here. Okay, oh, mercy, good job here.
He won't go down.
Well, again, great effort on Denson's part, and almost came out of that one. Again, get this guy in the weight room. He's already gained 7 pounds, I think, since he's been there. Get him a little bit stronger in the upper body, and he'll break some of those arm tackles. Good job, of throwing and catching by Kenny Ford. And
Receivers were really getting open.
well, again, now, this is a good throw here. Kirksey, they had a guy in the vicinity, and that's not an easy throw and catch. And great job here. Milner kind of halfway drops one later on, but again, I can't say enough good things about our receiver corps. Okay, here's Berrien right here. Really a good determined run now. We're down on their end of the field. Okay, Franks running up inside, spinning and twisting and doing all that sort of stuff here. Give it to him again, and he comes back out the backside of this. We're going to see a replay of it. He breaks another run later on in the course of the ball game. But again, Franks is having a good year. He is a strong guy. You can see once he gets turned down the field, sometimes he runs straight up, but he's so big and strong. Once he does get going and get his shoulders down, he can. Now, seeing this Wetfield, Pete Surratt, our center, said this ball, it slipped on him coming up, and in a time we've got a chance, we're moving the ball. Okay, they had him covered pretty good. A very inopportune time.
Have to go for a field goal,
and we missed this
44
one. We don't see a replay of it. I think the snap was a little bit high and a little bit outside, and we had to struggle a little bit to get it down. Again, Myers is having a good year kicking the ball and did some impressive things here later on, but I think that was a little bit more snapper than it was kicker. Again, that's the first pass they got outside. And
that was their first down of the ball game.
Yeah,
halfway
okay,
through
yeah, I knew
quarter.
it was. Okay, now they break this. You could say this is the only thing really that they did offensively all day long. Mike Clark coming from the backside makes a great effort here to keep them from scoring, which, again, small thing, but watch what happens here. They run up inside and make a couple of yards, kind of push the pile a little bit, but it's going to get real interesting. A great job on Mike Clark's part keeping him from scoring. Now here's Satterwhite and Funchess and crew right in here, replay of it. Again, that's the only thing that they remotely did, in my opinion, offensively. They had one little drive later in the ball game, but again, you can see our defensive unit, excuse me, is really swarming here. And we're going to come up and hit them and cause a fumble right here. You can't really see it, but we hit them and cause a fumble. Satterwhite caused it. I can't remember who recovered. Okay, Cornell Cannon, they have a strong safety. You can see Satterwhite just literally, there's the ball right there. That's the first time I've seen that look. We get it, but I think Mike Clark's great effort on the long run, keeping them from scoring, now enables us to cause a fumble. Conversely, we keep them out of the end zone. Very, very big play here. Okay, here's Russell Berrien. A couple of 3 hard-fought yards in here. All right, now here's Kenny. Come back off, give the ball to Big Franks again. Makes a couple of yards here. We're fixing to make a first down, I think, in here. Okay, we ran an out and up trying to go deep on him. Boy, he was open. If we could have gotten the ball over that guy right there. Again, we were trying to go deep on him. Backed up, okay, sprint draw. All right, here's Berrien here. All right, now we go back and give the ball, okay, off to Big Franks. He makes me, okay, he's hammering away. But we made a first down and get out there and get stopped. Vincent comes in and hits this ball pretty good. Now they almost hit a little crease here on this punt return, and we do. Chris Calhoun, nice job of tackling there. Of course, now they've got the ball on our side of the field. Nothing has really happened other than that. A great job of Gilden right here, boy. If you talk about a guy dominating a blocker in a play here, and pardon me, excuse my voice, it's kind of jumping in and out still, but watch Gilden down here at the bottom. He jumps inside this guy, just overwhelms the guy down at the bottom, and then makes really a good-looking play on Patterson here, and you can see Satterwhite and Colburn, some of them zinging by. Big play here. That knocked them back across the other side of midfield at a time when, again, they had broken the long run, and I think that took them out of any momentum offensively. You can see, okay, here he goes back. Quarterback draw, which, again, they have always done a pretty good job with all their quarterbacks. Really, and this guy here, Patterson's got some run ability himself. Satterwhite, I think it's a play Satterwhite knocked himself out on. We couldn't get him out of the ball game. They hit this one up in front of us here. Make a first down. Patterson, for a guy that is limited throwing, he's got a fairly strong arm. Gilden, Andre Thompson, right now you can see our pass rush showed up more against them, and they've got, I think, a pretty good offensive line of scrimmage. Okay, Gilden, okay, stay outside, stay with him. Gilden slip and fell. Patterson jumps outside and runs out of bounds. But again, they're playing with it down on our end of the field. Come on, pass rush. Throws that ball off down there, and we hit him pretty well covered. They come in and into the wind, hit this field goal. I can't remember, it wasn't this. We almost blocked their second field goal attempt. Now, again, Iowa State has gone ahead by 3, and we have pretty much dominated play. They kicked the ball short, I think, by design into the wind. Okay, we rightfully so fair catch it. All right, now come back. 1st and 10, we're going to throw. All right, throw it down the middle. All right, nice job here, Burt Milner.
It's only 25 seconds
okay, yeah,
left
this
the
is
ball
one.
game.
All right, yeah, in a period of time when here's a replay, same thing. I told the coaches on the sideline, okay, if we get any kind of decent field position, let's go ahead and fire. They were backed off, and we look pretty good doing this. And again, sometimes I won't say I second-guess myself on this, but this is a little bit risky with us at times. Again, here goes Kenny back to throw. Okay, good throw and good catch to Robert Kirksey. Now we're into some 2-minute stuff. All right, same play again. Protection is good. We really never did break down, I thought, all afternoon long protection-wise. Robert does a nice job of sitting down in the hole, and Kenny does a good job of throwing. Again, Robert Kirksey is I think he is playing the very best of his career down the stretch of his 5th year, which is what you like to see out of a guy.
11 seconds
Watch,
left.
yeah, 11 seconds. Watch his throw and catch here. Well, good touch over the top of one of them. Burt catches it, jumps out of bounds. We run the field goal group out there. Okay, replay. Same play coming up. Okay, nice job. Kenny throwing a corner route. And they're playing a softer form of coverage. But again, we had the ball 25 seconds left, our own 25-yard line, throw it 3 consecutive times.
Now there's only 5 seconds left.
And there 5 seconds left. We run the field goal group in, hit it. Ricky Myers kicks it, good. I could tell it affected their momentum. We were going off the field halftime. It did us some good. Now the game's tied at 3 at the half.
So at the half, it's 3-3. We'll find out what happened in the locker room at halftime between Oklahoma State and Iowa State when the Pat Jones Show continues in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. It is tied at 3 at halftime between Oklahoma State and Iowa State. Pat, the stats show that the Cowboys dominated the first half.
Well, statistically, yeah, you can see here they've only made 3 first downs. We've had about 100 yards rushing, passed for 117. Again, 216 yards total offense is not bad, and we've had the ball almost 10 more minutes than them. And we were, relatively speaking, we're fortunate that we had tied it at 3. You can see by their tone of play that they're trying to be very guarded with Caldwell at quarterback. I was calling him Peterson or Patterson here early on, but it is Caldwell. But trying not to do much, had set the tone from the opening kickoff, feeling like they're going to, again, play defense, try not to turn the ball over, and try to force an error out of us. Again, we were getting a little bit frustrated and why the field goal on our side was so important for us, because we had moved the ball very consistently and looked like we were going to go in 3 down. Well, bang, 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 we go back down the field, kicked a field goal with 5 seconds left. Now we've tied the game. We're in pretty good spirits going up the ramp. At Ames, you walk up the ramp, both teams kind of do.
Together.
And I thought I could feel a pretty good surge in our people, and it acted like their kids were kind of going through a little bit of a downer there. They had broken off the long run, but really that's all they had gotten done. And again, it seems like we have statistically got control of the ball game. You get the impression, though, it's going to go right down to the wire. First couple of series of the second half are going to be very important, and they were. They're going to, again, give us the ball at the start of the second half and take the wind because of their decision to start the ball game.
That surprised you again?
Well, no, it really didn't, because I felt like, if you're in their shoes, they got to think they can stop us. Mm-hmm. They got to feel like that with Caldwell at quarterback, they can't take very many chances. Again, their front seven defensively is playing pretty good. But that did not surprise me, but we're going to give us another possession, and we actually take it and drive it.
Well, it's tied at 3 at halftime between Oklahoma State and Iowa State. Momentum definitely on the Cowboys side. We'll take a look at second half action when the Pat Jones Show continues after these messages. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. The second half sees the two teams tied at 3. And Pat, as we pick up the action, you got a 3rd and 1 on your own 39.
Again, they have kicked to us. We're moving down here, and now we've got a 4th down play. This is 4th down right here from our own 39-yard line. So, again, I thought it was very important for us to try to sustain some emotion, which we had. Here's Big Franks breaks this one. He almost went the distance here. But we snuck the ball, made it. Now Franks breaks. We're going to see a repeat of it. But, again, trying to go for it on 4th and 1 from your own 39 early in the second half is a little bit gut-wrenching from my standpoint. But again, we converted, and Franks breaks. And again, he's had a groin injury that has bothered him most of the season. But the guy, I think, is really responding. And again, I've said this 3 or 4 times already, is having a good year. Okay, here we come back and give the ball to Denson. Again, he was almost, he was just within a one arm tackle breaking that, and they spin him around pretty good. Kenny comes back and throws here. About the only, I thought, real catchable ball that I would have thought we would have caught that we didn't. We come back and throw. Now Burt makes this guy, a couple of guys miss him here. We end up getting a pretty good spot on this one, or I think a correct spot on it. You end up picking up the first down. Okay, you can see, okay, here he goes back, throwing the ball. Good job, Milner. Get up the field. Again, he's a little guy who does tend to get kind of thrown around a little bit, but good football player. I mean, he and Kirksey, two good receivers. Okay, now, yeah, there he is, going back to him again. And there now he got himself down and got up the field. Okay, same play again, coming back off a sprint draw action, and nice job of throwing it in there to him. I thought really, with a few exceptions, Ford threw the ball pretty well. Again, there's a little bit later he kind of got high on a couple of them, but I thought Kenny did a nice job. Okay, turn around, pitch it to Denson on the sweep, and again, nothing. Well, he almost came out of not much, but you know, Iowa State got a lot of people around the football. All right, here's Kenny back now. Throws, almost.
It was tipped, I think.
Copeland almost made a great catch. Now we run our field goal group in. Ricky Myers kicks it into the wind. Now Oklahoma State goes ahead 6-3. Just what we needed in the opening drive of the second half. Obviously, you'd love to have sevens, but we held the ball and moved it into the wind. All right, Mark Spatz, nice tackle here on the kickoff. They're going to go, I think, a pretty good period of time now without making a first down. Just run the fullback up inside. Okay, here now, Caldwell has got, we thought we might see a little bit more of this type of stuff here. Again, to try to feature his running ability. Again, option, they were cracking on us and trying to pull a tackle and stuff that we had worked on, but they didn't make a first. Now they come in and Iowa State punts the ball. Scotty Harmon does a nice job of catching it and getting it tucked. We were leaving our defensive unit again on the field because of the fear of their fake game. They never did fake. We decided to go deep, thought we might could run by them. They had it covered well, and Kenny rightfully so overthrew it deep. Okay, now we come back off play action here again. All right, good job, Burt Milner getting in a crease. This is a great job. You can see how really well Milner's throwing. This is a good, Kenny does a nice job of hanging back in here. You can see Burt should come off the right-hand side of our screen in here. There he comes right there. Well, Kenny does a nice job of laying in. You hit this guy in full stride, and now he can create some big plays. The big play potential is something we obviously need. Ball was down. All right, now we're moving it again. Here he goes back to throw. Okay, kind of throws that and a little bit off his back foot. Robert catches it. They had it covered, but not much gain here. Turn around, toss it, Berrien, sweep. Not much here, and nothing. Might have lost a yard. And Iowa State, point of attack, playing pretty well. Come back. Kenny's going back to throw the ball. All right. He threw it a little bit low here. Couldn't really tell. Now we're forced to punt. Okay. Barry Vincent comes in, hits a liner. All right. This guy Fields. I really thought there was some good job of coverage. I think we misfired a little bit punt-wise, and I think it'll tell a little bit later. I thought there were 3 or 4 instances, Jerry, where we had an opportunity to punt the ball if we could have got it killed way down deep inside their 10 or something, and then they might have forced it. We could have forced an error off, and you can see Caldwell has got some scramble ability, and we never really could pull that off. There's a couple more big plays coming up later on. Good job, Wendell Gaines, Gilden, Satterwhite, pass rush. Again, Wendell Gaines continues to play well. And watch these big guys up in the interior, okay? Come on, Wendell. You can see they're big 99. All right, there you go.
Fighting off the blocks.
Yeah, and stay with him. You bet. Stay, keep a hold of him. And there's Satterwhite and Gilden right close. But our best day as far as rushing a passer, and again, Caldwell they were being guarded with, okay? They come off and, hit this punt pretty well. Again, Scotty Harmon fair catches it. So Oklahoma State has the ball again, still going into a little bit of wind. All right, run the sprint draw. Nothing happened. Lose a couple of yards here. We've got the lead. We weren't really trying necessarily to say, okay, let's don't throw it. I was wanting our people just to go ahead and play ball and stay with the original game plan. And you can see we're still backed up and we're throwing it right there. That guy made a move for it and almost intercepted, but Milner caught it, gets loose off down the sidelines, and you can see Burt Milner is showing up repeatedly. again, from where I was standing, I thought, watch out, okay, there goes that guy there. Now I saw Burt flash down the sidelines, thought we had a chance, but again, Kenny Ford to Burt Milner and Robert Kirks is a pretty effective combination. Boy, did these two receivers play hard. All right, here we go again. Now we run the tailback. I make a little bit, but not much. But we got, again, another pretty good-looking drive going into the win. Now the fourth quarter we're going to go into the fourth quarter with a 3-point lead.
And with a win, Oklahoma State 6, Iowa State 3 into the third quarter. We'll take a look at final quarter action in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. Pat, as we head into the fourth quarter, you've got the football, the wind at your back, and seemingly in control.
Well, as much so as you can be when you've only got a 3-point lead. But again, we're just on the verge. We can knock one in anywhere down in here. Realistically, unless something bad happens, you're going to win the game. Now, this I thought was big here. We got a chance to pin them down in there, and Vincent unloads on one and kicks it out. Now, again, you got to be pretty accomplished to kick a pop kick, but that was what we were trying to do. They hit a little bit of a crease. They're going to make a first down, aren't they, Jerry, in here? This is about the only little sustained drive.
Yeah, this is the second down play, and then they have 3rd and 1.
Yeah, 3rd and 1. They go ahead and pick it up with the fullback. That's the first down that they've made in the second half. Closest thing to a sustained drive they do is right in here again. Caldwell throws it out there, their tight end Schultz. He's a good player.
Make 2 in a row.
Make 2 in a row and get off down in here on our end of the field. They started running a couple little combination of trap and trap option down in here. There's the trap again. They've had to, again, in a 4-day period of time, 3-day period of time, kind of change their tone of offense. Tried to hit a slant and we had it covered and they dumped the ball off. Okay, there's a trap again for not much. You can see we're giving ground pretty grudgingly here. Okay, here comes Caldwell out. He does get Gilden outflanked, but not much here. Gilden thought they had a hold of him. They might have. Come on, man, get all. Okay, he makes a little scramble here to pick up a first down. You can see the yardage they're making. They're really not gashing us at all there, but they did pick up a couple of firsts. Good job of knocking them back, window gains, and our crew up front. Okay, here goes Caldwell back to throw. Nobody open, and our rush shows up in a hurry. Gilden, window gains, Colbert. Okay, here he goes, sprint pass. They're doing pretty easy things. All right, now Gilden, great job, pressure, good job here, men. And I think their offensive line is fairly good. They had played pretty well in the offensive line throughout most of the season. Okay, Caldwell comes back, wants to throw it deep, and then checks off and hit. Boy, this was an impressive throw and catch there. We kind of had it covered, Woolridge did, and the guy just threw it right through his arm. Tries to scramble again, great effort by Satterwhite. Again, this might have been one of Satterwhite's all-time better performances.
Caldwell is shaken up, and Seiler's the quarterback.
That's right. Caldwell got banged up. They put back in Seiler, the other quarterback. Now Caldwell's going to come back in the ball game. Again, they're just trying to maneuver off down in there and kick a field goal, which we almost got a hand on that one right there.
31 yards.
Excuse me. We were trying to do the same thing to them they did to us, knock them back and get some jumpers in there. There's some of their little junk kickoff stuff. Okay, pops it up again into the wind. All right, Scotty Harmon comes up and catches it on the run and breaks the outside and had a little something right there. They called that a late hit, which I thought it was a good call. And again, now we've got good field position.
At the 50.
All right, coming on back, throwing a little bit of a bootleg herself. Denson was open and dropped this ball here. And okay, now Kenny's coming back. And all right, play action again, sets and throws. All right, a little bit of a high throw. Boy, what a nice catch here. Burt Milner again. Watch this, see if we can see him jump up and catch this ball. Again, the ball was wet and not easy to handle. That boy, Burt, that's the way to go up and get the ball tucked.
And hold on.
You know, again, Burt is not very big and does tend to get ricocheted around at times, but he is a very competitive guy. But you can see we've driven now back across their side of the field. It's a little scary here. They had that covered.
Almost.
We were trying to throw a little underneath route. Got stuck on it pretty good. Okay, here goes Ford back. That was the diving one. I thought he had pulled that one off right there. Would have been a great diving layout catch, but we didn't. They had that one covered. We tried to hit that same corner route again. Come in and punt down. This is a big play, I think. Yeah, watch this here. Ball hits short. Come on, if we just let it go, we hit the ball and knock it. If we could kill it inside the 5, boy, you really got a heck of a chance. Now, they've got it on the 20. Those are small things, but in a ball game like this, do they ever tend to show up? He ran a bootleg himself. Okay, now come on, another bootleg. Eric Garman misses him right there. But they're still not going to make much. Good job, Brandon Colbert. That's a good job of taking a shot at him. Crowd won't try to get a call out of that, but I think they made the right decision. Okay, here comes Satterwhite. All right, there's Jason Gilden again. You can see how much this guy's showing. A big play, third down. Us not killing the punt was a big play, but they come out and our pass rush just completely overwhelms their front. And there again, there's Gilden and Gaines and company again. So Caldwell's down, and they're going to have to come in and punt again into the wind. They hit this ball decent. Scotty Harmon gets it caught. So you can see we've got the ball now. What is there, about 4 minutes and something left in the ball game, Jerry? Is that correct?
3:15.
3:15 left. Okay, here's Denson. Watch, he almost came out of a couple of these here. We're maneuvering it all down the field. Okay, come give it. He almost came out of this one right here. A repeat of it. Again, it looks like at any moment we're going to generate a big play, and this stuff kind of went on throughout the course of the afternoon. Okay, good job, Raphael. Take care of that football and keep your legs churning, and let's go. It looks like we're going to maneuver down in there and have a realistic chance to kick a field goal. Remember, now the game's tied at 6. Okay, they hit us in the head right here, lose a couple of yards. So, okay, we come back out now. Okay, Kenny comes back off the play action here. Our big play, is this going to be, okay, come on, kid, just throw it away. We had a fullback in the vicinity, and they didn't see him. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad call. Again, boy, this is, you just throw it away. Throw it away. We were in field goal position, throws it down here and throws it back to Burt Milner. We've got it back down there again. Again, I thought the grounding play was very big. Come in, and this is the 52-yarder. Watch how close, oh my goodness. I mean, I saw it from an end zone copy. It was about 2 feet short. We had hit one from right almost that identical position on the field of the finale of our workout on Friday. Okay, there's Wendell Gaines again. They're trying to run quarterback. They don't know now whether how cute to get with it. Okay, they're backed up. There's still enough time for some of us to have another shot if they turn the ball over. Okay, you can see big Gaines get Caldwell down.
He is strong.
Oh yeah, he's a big guy. So again, I think really going to be a good player. He's really getting better. Okay, here we go again. All right, pass rush. Jason missed him right there. All right, he comes out and kind of throws it against the grain right here. We miss a couple of tackles. Now it's starting to get a little bit tense on our part because they're maneuvering it off down in there. It looks like they might have a chance. Slip by Jason again. Come on, men, stay with him. All right, there's Gaines, and then they chase him out of bounds. But you can see they're on our side of midfield here, so this is getting a little bit tense. Okay, now he's scrambled around. Caldwell throws it out of bounds. We caught it, but it was out of bounds. And now they're coming back and trying to run a sprint pass here. Okay, no play. Throws it in the dirt. What down is this, Jerry?
This is 4th and 5.
Okay, they come back and they try to run a quarterback draw, trying to break one, then trying to give them a crack at a field goal. Okay, we come back. That was 4th down. We try to take over. We're trying to throw it deep again. Gets ricocheted around. They get back. They're going to get one more play. Well, if you think stand over there where I was in my shoes, this thing wasn't going up and down and sideways all over the place. Gosh almighty. Okay, he tries to throw it and just fires it up in the crowd. I think there is one more play.
One more play in the game.
One more play in the game. Okay, Caldwell goes back. Andre Thompson, great job, Andre. That's the way to stay with him. Sackey, 6-6 tie. Okay, repeat of the same thing. It's the last play of the ball game. Watch Andre Thompson's effort here. That's the way to hustle around men. We go with a 3-man rush late in the ball game. Great sack, great job, Andre Thompson. Again, great job defense. Offensively we moved it and just could not knock it in. Frustrating. Pistol Pete's probably frustrated. His head's too big for him to look down. But there's Jimmy and I, and boy, I kind of got the impression Jimmy was happy to didn't lose one, and I didn't really know how to act, to be quite honest with you. It's the first tie I've ever had as a head coach, and in a ball game that we did statistically come close to dominating. Sure, you'd have liked to have won it, but I certainly can't fault us effort-wise, and I think Iowa State played hard.
Well, it was a 6-6 tie, and we'll take a look at those final game statistics when the Pat Jones Show continues after these messages. Well, Oklahoma State and Iowa State battled to a 6-6 tie. That would indicate an even game, but that wasn't the case at all in Ames, Iowa. Pat, the stats show that you dominated the game from beginning to end.
Well, I think to paint an interesting, correct picture of this ball game, I think to a degree this does, and that again, that's frustrating from our standpoint. Again, we did play, I think, in my opinion, well enough to win the ball game. On the same hand, you didn't. But again, you got 20 first downs. That's a good day. Somebody had told me immediately afterwards, you had almost 200 yards total offense more than they did. Everything here indicates that, yeah, you've won the game. for one, that where you didn't score, nobody scored a touchdown in this ball game. You would think that neither team could accomplish much offensively, but I think we did much more than they did. And again, the ultimate result on the scoreboard sure is big. I think we sacked him 5 times.
6 times, 39 yards?
6 times. We didn't have a sack ourselves, but again, it's frustrating on one hand not to win it. Improvement on the same hand that we did get some things accomplished here. So again, more frustration than anything else. And we did move the ball, and I think it was one of our better defensive efforts in several years, in my opinion.
I will agree to that. Coach's Corner up next with Oklahoma State head football coach Pat Jones. Stay with us. Welcome to Coach's Corner. Each week at this time, we pose a question to Coach Pat Jones. This week, Coach, it has to do with recruiting. The month of November, you enter a new phase of recruiting for your football team. How have the rules affected recruiting this year? Well,
of course, again, it would probably take all night if I sat here and talked about all the rules that we've got, any of us have at this level. We have had the last 4 Fridays in October to go out and to see games or to go into a high school or a junior college on Friday. Again, not talking with any youngsters, again, doing pure evaluative work. Now, November 1 starts a wide open evaluative phase from the standpoint that you can, it doesn't have to be only Friday, you can go out. We'll have some coaches go out probably on some Thursdays and do some stuff. And again, you're still evaluating. Now, the evaluative opportunities count now. Where they didn't count, and that runs, if I can make any sense out of this, all the way into next spring. So you just can't go repeatedly now like you used to. Because you still cannot talk to youngsters face to face, but again, transcripts of film, video evaluation, this sort of thing, the pace starts to pick up. December 1 starts, or when their high school or junior college year finishes, starts a contact period. Again, these count, and you got to keep track of obviously all this stuff, but. So now that we're expanding, everybody at this level, coaches will be out a little bit more, into a few more high schools and junior colleges. So it's starting to build up leading into the December 1 contact period. So now you can start sitting and talking with youngsters about things. So now it's starting to build up and build up. All staffs across the country, and we can only send out less. Now you got to designate 7, including the head coach, can go out at these periods of time. So big paper trail, real complicated, but it is starting to build.
Does it sound complicated to you? Well, I think you'll agree that it certainly is. We'll be back with some closing comments on the Pat Jones Show in just a minute. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. Pat, next week in Stillwater, Kansas. Would you talk about that and about your injury situation?
Well, at this point, I'm not real sure how Dimitri Markham is, Jerry. Again, he had turned his ankle on the opening kickoff, and again, he's a guy that's pretty important to us, and I would like to think that we would have Mark Cheatwood back. L.G. Thompson's shoulder has been sore. Now we might have him back a little bit. So hopefully we'll know by tomorrow how some of these guys are. Glad that we're playing at our homecoming as opposed to somebody else's homecoming. You know, we've had 2 weeks of other people's homecoming now. It has always been a big event here in Stillwater. I think this football team deserves a good crowd. It's a good event. It's a good atmosphere around this stadium. Again, KU beat us in a nail biter here last year. Drive the length of the field and score and hit a 2-point try, and then we get it and go back down there and have the field goal hit the upright and jump out and all this kind of stuff. I think our people will very much be ready to play KU. I think KU will be ready to play. I was a little bit surprised that OU beat them as handily as they did, and then I don't know much about the particulars of the ball game, but what I have observed so far is that KU is much improved defensively. I have been very impressed with their defensive unit. Offensively, they struggled around a little bit at quarterback themselves. Tony Sands, the running back, little guy, I think either has or will become the all-time leading rusher in the history of the University of Kansas. Has been a very productive guy for them over the years. The 2 big guys in their interior defensively are hard to handle. They do some stuff. They've really gotten more aggressive, a lot of man coverage, a lot of blitz stuff. They do a lot of things to put a lot of pressure on your offensive unit. Again, I think we continue to improve and get a little bit better offensively, but we'll really have to play extremely well to have a chance against KU. But I think it very much is a ball game that our players are looking forward to. I think our coaches are looking forward to it. And I would like to think our fans are looking forward to the ball game. So, hey, let's bring your family and come on up here and go see the floats and all the stuff surrounding it. Let's get ready to get after KU.
Kickoff is at 1:30 Saturday in Stillwater, Oklahoma State and Kansas University. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week on The Pat Jones Show.